Namaste, angels. This is the Virgo biweekly reading for the period of tomorrow, December 16th through 2 Sundays from now to come, December 29th. And I should be back on the 30th or by the 30th with your next one if all goes well, like God willing, as they say. Happy to be here. This may be the last one of the bi-weeklies that I do for this period. I'm very seriously considering only doing the earth signs. I'm not even playing with y'all. I'm not. I set out to do Capricorn first because their birthdays fall within this period. And then when I was shuffling to do it, I found myself shuffling or focused on Taurus. So I did their reading first. But you know what? They're my biggest supporters. Like they just really are. So shout out to all the Taurians out there. Maybe anybody that has both Taurus and Virgo in their chart, or a Virgo that's dealing with a Taurus. Because a lot of you are dealing with other earth signs. It's interesting. A lot of you earth signs are dealing with other earth signs, not necessarily Virgo. Yeah, so I did Taurus and then I did Capricorn and now I'm doing you. And that may be it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because of the elements, yes, earth signs in general have been my biggest supporters. But Virgo and Capricorn fell off a little bit last time, 2 weeks ago. And normally, or this time last year, if I was doing this, I probably wouldn't care that much. Because in terms of care, and like I'm taking it personal, I really don't now. But I need the support because of what's going on with YouTube. So also I have tons, I probably more than ever, of client readings and energy healing to do. I think that's because of the way that the divine masculine in particular is awakening, like going through this new phase of ascension, like en masse. I think it's because of that, because it's a lot of them and a lot of them ordering their own readings. I've even done a poll as to what people's thoughts are on me doing male only sale. And there was good response for that. So I think I'm still going to do that. Post a sale for men, the men. Yeah. All right. So Virgo, let's get into yours. Somebody. This is for a lot of y'all. Somebody from your past. I'm going to have to talk about Virgo. My son's a Virgo. And when I was younger, I dated Virgos. I've had only like 4 real boyfriends in my life, right? Like real boyfriends that are worth mentioning. They took up most of my time. So in high school, there was 2. They were both Virgos, 9/11 and 9/19. The 9/19 Virgo was the more aggressive, let's say. And when you're a young person, you can't really deal with that kind of pressure. This man asked me to marry him. I mean, not just verbally. This man got on his one knee after having bought the entire set. So my engagement ring, my wedding band, and his wedding band at like 16, 17. Of course, I had to say no. And that probably played a part in me breaking up with him and dating the other one. Okay, so the 9/11 Virgo. But the 9/19 Virgo would never really, really let me alone to be, happy and go off into the sunset with the 9/11 Virgo. So we eventually broke up too. Then the 9/19 Virgo and I were separated by circumstance. This was the universe separating us. Like where we were completely out of touch. And that's when I met the Gemini and married him. Because by now, I'm in my early 20s at this point. Had a baby first. My son was our our son was our ring bearer at my wedding. When I married the Gemini, I was 23 and my ex-husband was 22 when we got married. So that was the end of boyfriends. I was married for over 20 years, end of boyfriends. Then divorced, or as after I was separated, met the Scorpio that, you know, is a huge part of my awakening and whatever, you know, the beginning of my journey on this path. And so that's it, right? So I know Virgo. I know Virgo men, at least. Yeah, I spent all those formative years with Virgo men. And they hold grudges. And my son's like this too, because he had a girlfriend to cheat. They just don't, they're not interested after that. I mean, they may be interested, but they're so, I don't know if their hearts are so broken or if their egos are so bruised or both. I think it may be a little both. That they just like can't go back. They can't go back. They're not willing to try, even if it could work. Now, other people and other signs might say like, what are you talking about? You're saying that was 30 years ago? Okay, so if you guys wanted to get back together, you could. Do you know we're still in contact and we're not together? It's this thing. We're you know, really good friends. He can call me anytime, and I can call him anytime. And if you want somebody that really knows you, which that may be our reason for being in each other's life at this point, and that may be the reason. That may have been the reason the whole time. Like maybe we're never really supposed to be together romantically, but we're supposed to be friends and have somebody that after 33 years you could still pick up the phone and talk to, somebody that knows you, like knows you, because that's important too, right? How important is that? How many of us have that? I think a lot of people don't have it, so I feel tremendously blessed that we have that. But it's like it's still very clear that he is still interested and has been still interested, particularly at certain times in our lives in this 33 years after we were older, and even both single at the same time, that he's afraid. That's really what it is. I mean, that's the best word I can come up with, really. He's afraid. And I remember, speaking of being afraid, one night we were in a club. We were both single and grown at this time. We had been reunited by Facebook. We were in a club and we're like standing by the bar, and I put my hand like on his shoulder, and just very subconsciously, nothing, whatever. I touched his back in such a way that he's like, "Don't do that." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like what did I do?" And he's like, "That like could make me get like too vulnerable." And I said, I just thought like, too vulnerable, not willing to open up. And so I say all that to say, I share all my my Virgo personal business to say, I got 3 decks of cards up here. It's my Ascendant Masters deck, my Angel Therapy cards, and the Animal Tarot. And this Heart Chakra card, particularly in combination with your spread here, which we'll definitely go over in a sec too, is really making me feel like a lot of you Virgos are interested in somebody from your past, and or you have somebody from your past who is seriously interested in you, but you've been too afraid. Your heart chakra has been too closed. You've been unwilling to open it because of the distrust. Now, this overall energy for you guys is the 7 of Swords upright, and this is a card of distrust. Oh man. Okay, I got to tell you what I just saw underneath there. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see the card. Before I lose my train of thought, let me go back to this. The 7 of Swords can be a card of distrust. I often see it also as somebody like stealing away with your heart. It's like this could be like the one that got away. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The one that got away. I think that's why I was moved to tell you that story from so long ago, like from my past. Like somebody from your past, the one that got away. And it could be a very long time. May very well be coming back during this period, out of nowhere. Like how my ex found me on Facebook. You know, out of nowhere, this person could come back. This is like the person that stole your heart, that got away, and then left you to be sort of miserly with it, and maybe to withhold it too tightly. But this Four of Pentacles is in reverse now, so maybe loosening up a bit on that grip that you had on yourself. And in some cases, this has to do with money or material, like not being willing to being cheap, you know, like really being a hoarder and withholding material resources, financial resources, or emotional resources, like your own heart is what you're holding on so tightly, and you won't open up and let anybody in there. Now, the next card behind this, normally I wouldn't mention it because it's upside down. I just like to talk about the ones that are upright. I think it might be important here. This woman's wearing all green, so this is like your color, your element too, the nature, the earth. This woman, she's an angel, right? So I think this is about spiritual relationships too. Spiritual connections, soulmate relationships. Not everybody is the same kind. There are many different types of soulmates. Somebody to whom you have a connection from your past, that you still feel connected to them, that's a soulmate. That's a soulmate. Now, it might not be the kind that you want, you know, to forever be with. It could be what they refer to as a karmic soulmate. Which all soulmates are karmic, so I really don't like that expression was created by somebody who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, because karmic just means containing a lesson and like destined of the universe. So every soulmate relationship is karmic. That's why I put karmic when I'm talking about the kind that's become a derogatory term. I put it in air quotes. In any case, I think this is going to be important for you guys. Be willing to forgive. Ask the angels to clear your mind and your body. I think particularly your heart. Because even though it was broken so long ago, you guys are still holding on to that. Imagine holding on to hurt for 33 years. Ask the angels to clear your mind and body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. Isn't that much more important? But again, I think a lot of this is happening because, particularly the masculine, having another like burst of ascension. So I've been on this journey for a while. There was a major awakening of the type that I feel is happening now in like 2010. Again, in like 2012. Again, in like 2015. And I think by comparison, we got sort of stagnant after that. Things got sort of still and calm for a while. And I think and right now it's happening again. This huge awakening. And again, mostly for the divine masculine. Some of them have been more awake before, in my opinion, and like went back to sleep, at least to an extent. So I think they're going through this again, and they're realizing like who and what they are. Perhaps one of these angel beings, right? Looks like a person, but then there's these angel wings. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive, natural-born healer. I think they're realizing that that's what they are in a lot of cases. And because they're having this spiritual awakening, they're being awakened to all these other feelings too, emotions, maybe even going through what they call, refer to as the dark night of the soul. And realizing that, you never really got over a situation. Now, at the same time, some of you are going to have to decide, because somebody is coming back. As I started to tell you guys that the Seven of Swords can be about somebody coming back into your life for me. Not necessarily romantic, but returning. And you got to decide whether or not that person is somebody you want to come back, because there is some sort of trust issue there. Behind it, also upright, is the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is another card for me that means that somebody's coming back. somebody from your past is very, very likely returning. If it's a direct water sign, the Knight of Cups is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. But it doesn't have to be a water sign. It could just be somebody likened to those traits or attributes coming to you in a very romantic way, gallant on a horse to sweep you off your feet and really tell you how much they care. But again, because this is also upright behind it, there was a lot of betrayal and hurt, or you're feeling that there was. It's not necessarily true that there was. We can have memories depending upon how we were affected by any given situation with another party. We don't necessarily have to have the same memories of the situation as the other party. So we could remember a lot of betrayal, hurt, heartbreak that they may not, or, perhaps they have, but maybe they moved on from theirs. And again, we're, as a Virgo, I'm not a Virgo, but again, my son is, my exes are, my baby sister is, so I could talk about Virgo women a little bit too. We're still holding on to something from the past, because my sister does that too. It's like, and she has this sort of like I was gonna say the world, not necessarily the world, but definitely like the family owes me something for whatever she experienced that maybe we don't even remember as that the way that she does. Whatever she experienced growing up, which I don't even want to make it seem like she had a hard life, but maybe that's what she feels in her life, in her heart. But I have two sisters. Of the three of us, she would be the one that was born after, our parents had, made it. So like how hard was your life? She grew up in Lower Manhattan, like blocks away from Tribeca in the financial district. Like we weren't roughing it. I'm the one that's from the Bronx. I'm the one that was born in Harlem. Like, my sister's the one that grew up in the South, was born in the late 60s, when things weren't cool. We maybe had hard lives. Like, how was your life hard? If it was hard, you made it hard, but that's our memory. That's necessarily her memory, and it doesn't have to be. But she does need to be the one to get over like this old hurt and pain that she carries, because that only hurts her. The rest of us are going on with our lives, we're moving on, and she's there holding on to something like, again, like the world or the family owes me something. I'm sharing that because I know I'm talking to other Virgos who are like this. I know it's just not just her or not just my exes. I know this is serious traits for you, because I started to talk about my son. He will not go back to, like, if you betray him or he feels betrayed by you, he's never revisiting that relationship. And he's in a very, loving and happy relationship now. So I don't want to make it seem like my son is at home wallowing over, something anyway, either. But as a Virgo, like, done is done. And that may be the Mercurian energy in part two, because I'm a Gemini. So we're ruled by Mercury also. The Geminis like to make sure that we're done though. So we have that thing that once we are done, we're done, and we won't be revisiting. Not a friendship, not a not a romantic relationship, not a nothing. Like once we say we're completely over it and we mean it, that's why we wait so long to say it. Same thing with saying that we're in love. And a lot of people will get fed up with Geminis and leave us and move on because they think that we don't love them. And that's because the reason you think we don't love you is because we think it's possible that we don't love you. And we're not going to say that we do until we're sure that we do. So you can keep that in mind too. And if you're dealing with an air sign, maybe particularly a Gemini, if a Gemini says they love you, believe them. So again, that's the Mercury energy that is possible. I'm talking so much and focusing on the relationship aspect of it and the romantic relationship in particular aspect of it, because I think that that's what most of you are going to be dealing with. So let me just go over what else we got here. There is Work Your Magic with Saint Germain. So this is a card about manifestation, maybe likened to the Magician even. In the tarot, the Magician represents the planet Mercury, and particularly the sign of Gemini, right? Because Gemini, this dual sign. So like we can do, anything you can do, I can do better. It should be like the mantra for all Geminis, because like everything that any other sign can do as a mutable sign, which Virgo is too. You guys are mutable too, but we're like to the second power. You know what I mean? So that's why I think the Magician refers to us. And that may not be the reason, that may not be the real reason it does, but it does in the tarot. The Magician represents the sign of Gemini. So you could be dealing with one and or this could just be representative of your energy and your ability to manifest your dreams, right? Because we got this card over here, the Nine of Summer, Nine of Cups, which is all about your dreams. Like you've been working on manifesting them. You've been praying, or you've been dreaming about, literally dreaming about something, whether it's daydreaming and fantasizing or dreaming while you sleep. You've been making focused intention. You've been working on manifestation, and boom, something's coming in. Now's the time your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. Maybe you've been hoping for somebody from your past to come back, but it's like, how's that going to happen? I haven't seen them in years. I haven't spoken to them. I don't know where they are. It's like, don't worry about how. Just trust that they will. Just like I never expected to see my ex again in this lifetime, and then one day he was on my Facebook, like, what's up? I literally never expected that. But I wanted to point out also about this Knight of Cups that for some of you, for everybody, there's a likelihood that someone is returning to your life, because there's more than one card here that would suggest that. And for some of you, I think that definitely, again, that is the one that got away, as they say. In your mind, your heart, whatever, whoever you consider to be the one that got away is who's returning. In other cases, some of you just expected a relationship to have gone better. Now for some, that applies to the relationship from the past too. Like you expected a relationship to come together. You expected to be further than you are, maybe along in the relationship. You expected things to progress, and maybe to the complete opposite. Not only do they not progress, they're over. That's possible too. Any threes for me in the tarot can always be about potentially a party of three, maybe even a love triangle. So that could have been part of it. That somebody else or some other third energy, whether it was a love triangle or not, was an influence and caused part of the problem. But the Three of Swords, specifically in reverse, specifically as it relates to love, can mean a few things. For one, that maybe, again, a relationship just ended, possibly, for you. Or, again, one that you expected to prosper, to come together nicely, has not. And now you're sort of feeling like you don't think it will. So the card shows up to say it's okay for you to feel the pain and to go through the process of that. But then this card in particular, in this spread, happens to sit next to the Three of Cups, where in a general sense, the Three of Cups in reverse can mean that somebody from, you'll have at least one happy reunion, right? Somebody from your past is returning and it's going to be pleasant. It doesn't necessarily mean that in relation to love, but in this spread, the card happens to be landing in your placement of love and relationship. Okay, so I'm just going through the steps now of all these things that are pointing to what I just told you in the beginning for me. Now, specifically as it relates to love, the Three of Cups in reverse it says that, well, for example, if you're in a committed relationship, that there could be some sort of financial stresses that are affecting the relationship. And with it crossing the Four of Pentacles, albeit in reverse, I think that's very, very possible. Some financial problems in the relationship. Maybe that will be faced and overcome during this period since it's in reverse. But financial issues nonetheless that have been somehow affecting the relationship. And that could even mean something like maybe one works too hard, right? And so, because that's a Virgo thing too. That's a Virgo thing too. That same Virgo ex, he works for the same company he worked for when we were 16. He still works for them now. he's not at the same location or whatever, but he still works for, and certainly not in the same position. He's a big shot now, but he still works for the same company. That's the earth sign, earth element, dedication, commitment, reliability, predictability even sometimes, but you can count on them. These are people you can count on, earth signs, for the most part, especially as it pertains to work. So that could be like the person just works too hard. You work too hard, Virgo, and so it's affecting your romantic life. If you're single and this card shows up, then it tends to mean that you're going to meet somebody, or you're very likely to meet somebody through friends or perhaps work. Right? Perhaps your friends at work, your coworkers, they're going to help you to meet somebody. If you have an opportunity to be out and about in groups, social settings with other people during this period, then you should. The Hermit, I'm going to skip up here now. The Hermit in reverse also, it's in your placement of the energy that is surrounding you. So this could be, again, co-workers or something going on at the job. This could be friends, family members, but specifically as it relates to love, the placement, it sits above. And this is your energy too, by the way. Major Arcana card 9, the Hermit, represents the sign of Virgo in the tarot. And for me, he can often be like a professor or even a lawyer. So somebody may be getting divorced. You expected your relationship to work out. It has not worked out. There's, you're getting a divorce. It's not only a recent breakup, but, a disillusion of a marriage, or maybe a legal separation, or you were maybe not legally married, but married like cohabitating and stuff like that, and so you didn't expect that to end, and you're finding that that's over, is possible. But the Hermit in reverse, specifically as it relates to love, again, can be that romantic interest from the past will be rekindled. But as I was asking you before with the scenario, are you interested? Do you want it to be rekindled? Is that what you really want? If you want a more romantic relationship, Knight of Cups type of energy and love, then also Virgo, you may need to look at the relationship and see, check yourself, your behavior. What are you giving to it? Are you contributing to it being a really whirlwind type of sweep you off your feet love or not? Maybe you're being too much like yourself, too, again, practical and grounded and, sort of rather a bore. That's possible too. All right, so let me go back in order now. So this is the card, this placement, that most is your focus, most represents you over the next 2 weeks. Now, the Four of Pentacles, particularly upright, is not one of my favorite cards. There's people that say, oh, it can even, people talk about it even nicely sometimes. The message that comes through the strongest for me with the Four of Pentacles is that it represents things that we do, relationships that we keep, jobs that we keep, just for the sake of having a relationship, just for the sake of having a job, just for the sake of having friends. I'm going to continue speaking to this friend that I don't really like. That's what the Four of Pentacles is. The job sucks, but it pays the bills. You get a check. I hate getting up in the morning to go to this job. I hate these people. They hate me. I hate this building, but I get a check. I get to pay my bills. Or I'm in this relationship. I hate looking at this person every day. I hate talking to them. I hate touching them. I don't want to be here. But they split the bills with me. They pay half the rent. They, whatever. They take care of the kids. They cook my food. Whatever. And so that's why you're still there. But that's not love. So some of you are in marriages and stuff. Also marriages or committed relationships, let me put it that way, that you don't want to be in. And also you may be at jobs that you don't want to be in, that you were just keeping because they paid the bills. The Three of Swords in your position of work and finance means that something, it's just a card of disappointment. So something could happen at your job. Something could happen at your job, or you could, not get the promotion that you wanted, or not get the bonus that you wanted. It is holiday time. Maybe you're looking for some sort of bonus, because it can be tied to some sort of disappointment. But also specifically as it relates to work, it means that if you have questions, you should not be jumping to conclusions. You should not be making up assumptions. You need to communicate with whomever it is you need to communicate. So if you need to go to HR to try to understand something, or to ask a coworker for assistance, for help, for clarity, be sure that you do that. This can also mean that people, particularly at work, maybe accidentally or inadvertently rude, insulting. You should try to just let it pass, because this is just a reading for 2 weeks. If you like the job and want to hold on to the job, don't ruffle any feathers, which again, that could be what the Four of Pentacles is about. I want to hold on to the job even though I don't like it, even though there are problems. So if you're one of those people who wants to, again, do that and maintain that position that you're in, then try to let stuff like roll off your back, as they say, not to let too much ruffle your feathers. But there could be something coming up, and maybe it'll involve a group, a project, or something. Maybe somebody else will take credit for something you did, because again, this could be representative of some sort of party of three, some sort of group or something at the job. Specifically as it relates to finances, it means that your anxiety about money, it's the way your focus on it. And again, that may be what's affecting your relationships too. For some of you, there's some sort of financial situation that's affecting your relationship, or it could just be your anxiety about money. It's causing you more problems than you need, or that's necessary. Like, if you would just chill out, things would be better automatically. You're hyping something up. You're causing a situation. The law of cause and effect. You do something. There's an action every action. There's an equal and opposite reaction. So you're manifesting a lot of negativity in the area of finances, and that may be another reason why, again, the Four of Pentacles shows up top this work position too, because as I explained it, for me, the Four of Pentacles is about having a job for the sake of having a job, even though it's not the right job for you. That could be tied to your paranoia about money. So now I'm going to just jump back to the Hermit and the position of the energy that's surrounding you. So again, this could be in part your energy. In the tarot, this does represent your energy very directly, the Hermit. Could be friends, could be coworkers, could be something at the job, could be something in your personal life, could be attached to your romantic life. The general meaning for the Hermit in reverse means that don't be afraid to take some alone time. If you need to do this introspection, you need to go within and figure things out. If you're interested in the person that came back, if you really want to keep working at this job, if you're ready to open up to whatever. Okay, if this is about financial constraints, if this is about material, if this is about love and emotion, if it's about all of the above, you trying to figure out what your next move is, what it is you want out of your life, it's okay. You don't owe anybody anything. If you feel you need to take some time to yourself. So definitely do that. Hermit can also be a very spiritual card and have to do with, again, maybe this is about some of you, the ascension through which you're going, this new growth, because not just masculine. I just see it happening at large with the masculine. I'm very excited and happy for them. Not just masculine, males, because some identify as feminine, even though they are male. Yeah, it is males. that's on the rise. My viewership is like mostly female, and I think that most tarot readers, that's the case. Although I do have some males, but like it's growing, and they're coming to me directly for their own services as opposed to as part of a couple, you know. Like their girlfriend made them or something. They're coming to me on their own. So that's why I've been talking about the males so much. But you know, there's females and there's divine feminine who are also going through a period of ascension. So that could be why this hermit is showing up too, and why you're feeling different things about different aspects of your life, different areas. Maybe you're feeling some vulnerability in any and all aspects of your life. And so you need to take some time to yourself and to go within and figure out what that's all about, or maybe to find some people, a group, right, for support, like church or synagogue or the mosque, or some sort of non-denominational support, other people who are on a similar spiritual path to you, some sort of new age something, or you know, just like a yoga class, you'll be surrounded by other, you know, spiritual people, or some sort of meditation or something. Get out and you know, look for your tribe. Basically, you may want to do that with the hermit in reverse showing up. And I think that, you know, that's really going to be your biggest focus over this next 2 weeks, is, you know, in one of these areas that I've discussed, figuring out exactly what it is you want. So here we had the work your magic. There was no card underneath it. This is about your ability to manifest any and everything that you want for yourself once you do that introspection and decide what that is. The heart chakra is showing up here because it's time for you guys to open up and have balance in this area. Love needs to be able to pass both ways. But, you know, unconditional love, we need to be able to both give and receive. And that's often going to involve forgiving. Again, even though this card is in reverse, I'm mentioning it. Also going to be involving forgiving. Even if you don't see somebody ever again, we often need to like release it by forgiving them in our hearts. We've forgiven them, we've moved on. And so that helps us. Like holding on to something for years and years doesn't hurt the other people. It hurts you, maybe even physically, right? Because that can cause like, you know, physical illness, high blood pressure, or, you know, for cortisone to be overproduced in your body. Next thing you know, you got a big belly. You know, that hurts you. The other person walking by with maybe with a flat belly. You got a big belly because you've been holding on to, you know, upset. So work on the heart chakra. But something that you have been working on manifesting is coming to you. And it may be, I wish this person would come back. I wish we could get back together. I wish we could revisit. I wish I could get closure. I wish I could figure out understand what happened. Why did they hurt me? I want to talk to them. Whatever's been going on. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how it will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. Loosening up on your grip on yourself, on your money, on your material wealth, just realizing what it is and taking it for what it is and not giving it so much importance and allowing it to cause you anxiety and illness because you've given too much importance to money. You've given too much importance to material. You've given too much importance to relationships that maybe weren't fulfilling or aren't fulfilling. Somebody coming back into your life. Maybe a friend with the Three of Cups in reverse, but in this particular placement, because the Three of Cups in reverse means that somebody is going likely to come back into your life and it's going to be a happy reunion. In any placement, particularly in love, I think that for a bunch of you, that's where it's happening. Somebody from your past, where there could be real love, is going to come back for a happy reunion. You got trust issues. That may be what you want to work on while you're in this, introspection. While you're doing your hermit thing. Work on those trust issues. They may steal your heart either way, because that's what the Knight of Cups does. He sweeps you off your feet. But yes, you are still living with this betrayal and hurt from the past. So it is going to require for this to be let go in order to move forward. And I just want to point out, this next card is upside down, but I'm pointing it out because it's another Nine of Cups. So, all right, dreams are coming true. wishes are being granted. And I think that again, that's particularly in the area of love for you. The next card is the Six of Pentacles. It's one of my favorites in all of the deck because it is about love being able to pass both ways and being healthy. It is about unconditional love. It is about the ability to both give and receive. And look what's underneath that. The Four of Wands. So this is joy, contentment, happiness, cohabitation, moving in together, get committed relationships, getting married, meeting somebody that you really, really can connect with and have a really awesome relationship with. You are going to have to be willing to fight for it. You are going to have to be, you've been down, but you're not out. So the universe is asking you to not give up and to keep pushing for what it is you do desire. And then you have abundance that is earned, whether it has to do with your relationships or your work, or it's literal abundance in terms of finances and the material. You will have earned it. You will have put the energy in, and that's why you're being rewarded. This card is also about ascension for me, because sometimes that's the way the universe rewards us, right? With growth, the universe promotes you. The universe raises you up, and then you also see it, the effects of that down here. Because as above, so below. So then you also become more abundant on this plane. And we'll end it right there on your energy, the King of Pentacles, a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. I hope you guys have enjoyed your bi-weekly. I'll be back, like I said, on the 30th for you, God willing. Namaste.